a boat that left without him, a distress call soaked in panic, and a video that may prove he was still alive, still breathing, still walking on that beach, long after everyone said he'd already vanished. Tonight, the Nolan Wells case takes a turn nobody saw coming. New witnesses are finally talking, new audio has surfaced, and a piece of footage, if real, blows a hole through everything investigators have told the public for months. This isn't the story you already know. This is the story underneath it. Stay with us, because a judge just called this an execution. If you followed this case, you already know the outline. A teenager. An island packed with hundreds of strangers. A boat that pulled away at 4:31 p.m. without him on it. What you don't know is everything that's happened since. The interviews nobody expected, the tape nobody wanted released, and the footage that surfaced right when this story was supposed to have gone cold. Tonight isn't the retelling of July 4th. Tonight is about what surfaced in the weeks after. Testimony from the people closest to Nolan, reactions from those demanding answers, and evidence that reopens questions everyone thought were already settled. Because for months, this case had gone quiet. The headlines slowed, the public moved on. And then, almost all at once, the silence broke. A friend finally speaking, a judge publicly pushing back, an audio file circulating in true crime circles, and a video that, if real, rewrites the timeline entirely. It starts with the man who was supposed to know Nolan best. Warren Hudson had been Nolan's closest friend since childhood. He was, by his own account, among the last people who saw Nolan breathing, laughing, alive. For months, he reportedly said nothing publicly. No interviews, no statements, nothing beyond what investigators already had on record. That kind of silence in a case like this tends to invite speculation. Was he protecting himself? Protecting someone else? Or simply too shaken to talk? Then, in a newly released interview, Warren finally broke that silence. And what he said didn't close the case. If anything, it only deepened the mystery surrounding it. Because the more he explained, the more the timeline seemed to fracture. To understand why Warren's words matter, you have to understand what July 4th was supposed to be. Hundreds of people, boats lined up along the shore of Horn Island. Music, drinking, celebration. The kind of holiday chaos where, allegedly, nobody notices one teenager slipping out of view for 90 minutes. In his interview, Warren remembers Nolan as more than a friend. Someone who, in his words, felt like a brother. Someone who lit up a room the moment he walked into it. Always smiling, always saying something to make the people around him feel good.
Hang out around us, but never, I was never around Nolan's parents a lot. But I mean, that didn't change our relationship any. Nolan and I were still just as close, and he was just as close with my friends as, anyone else, so.
And walk me through the day of 4th of July where you guys were all going out.
Right.
This seems like something that I would assume that may have occurred more than just this year.
Yeah, of course.
Was it something that you guys did more than just this year? This is a two-part question. I want to know, is it something that you guys typically did together, that you hang out often in this fashion? And then I want you to then walk me through 4th of July this year when the incident happened.
Okay. Being from the Gulf Coast,
It's the kind of tribute you'd expect from someone grieving a genuine loss. But warm memories don't answer the one question everyone actually wants solved. What happened after the sun went down? And why the people closest to him left without him? Warren describes that afternoon in detail. The group constantly moving between the sand and the water. Nolan reportedly begging to be led onto the boat with everyone else, desperate to be part of whatever came next.
I like to go on sunset cruises, like to do it all, on the water, And Nolan loved to do that too. I mean, he was not like he was just like everyone else in our friend group. He loved to go on the water and, have a good time with the guys. And that's what we did a lot. But 4th of July, everybody was out there. Like I said, like Nolan was always trying to go on the boat, trying to go out there with us. And he was always welcome to come. Nolan was always out there with us. And, but started 4th of July, my buddies and I had talked about this week's upcoming, everybody's very, very excited for the 4th of July from down here. Like it's a big thing.
It's a big deal.
It's a small human detail, a teenager just wanting to be included. But it's also the detail that makes what happened next so hard to reconcile. Because at 4:31 p.m., GPS data confirms that boat left the island, and Nolan was not on it. Warren's account, sources say, leaves gaps. Why did 7 people leave without him? How thorough was the search once they realized he was missing? Was there a moment, even a brief one, where someone noticed he was gone and decided not to turn back? Warren himself, allegedly, has admitted there are pieces of that day that still don't add up, even to him, even now, months later. It's the kind of admission that should reassure people, a friend willing to acknowledge the holes in his own story. Instead, for a public already suspicious of everyone connected to that boat, it's only added fuel. If the people closest to Nolan can't fully explain what happened, who can? Those same gaps are what pulled a very different, very public voice into this case. Judge Greg Mattis has built a career reading people and reading rooms, and when he looked at Warren's account, he didn't hold back. In a blistering public response, he zeroed in on the one detail that's haunted this case since day one: the sheer number of people who allegedly saw nothing at all.
Well, they all were. Who are they kidding? Who are they kidding? They all were. I bet it was, even if they had a 12-year-old on the island, he was drinking. So no, yes, so was he. So was everybody. So did everybody drown with bruises on the back of their neck? Did all the people drinking drown with bruises on the back of their neck? How is that relevant then? Unless he fell off, then you got dozens of witnesses seeing him fall off of a
300 to 400 people on that island by his count, and reportedly not one of them saw what happened to an 18-year-old boy. Mathis argues that any parent in that position would tear the world apart looking for the truth. The implication, left hanging in the air, is that someone out there already knows it. He didn't stop there. Mathis directly challenged the narrative that Nolan's death was simply a drowning, an accident, a tragic mistake fueled by alcohol.
He didn't get drunk and fall off in the ocean. We do know that. In someone else's boat. So that's no relevance. That's just like saying George Floyd was high, and so therefore they had a right to execute him. And so we're saying now, oh, well, Nolan had been drinking. That doesn't give you a right to execute him.
According to Mathis, the evidence doesn't support a boy who got drunk and slipped into the ocean. He points instead to reports that Nolan was at some point on someone else's boat, and questions why drinking is even part of the conversation when the real issue, allegedly, is what was done to him afterward. His choice of the word execute wasn't accidental. It was designed to make people listen, and people did. His comments spread fast, shared and reshared across social media, because they gave voice to something the public had already been feeling, that the official story, whatever it was, didn't fully add up. Mathis wasn't presenting new evidence. He was doing something arguably more powerful. He was asking, out loud and on camera, the exact questions everyone else had been afraid to say directly. Around the same time Mathis was raising those questions, an entirely different piece of evidence was working its way through the media, one that didn't rely on memory or testimony at all. It was audio. A distress call, reportedly placed from the very boat that left Nolan behind, allegedly capturing voices in the background that no one has been able to fully explain. Nancy Grace was among the first to bring the recording to a national audience, and she didn't mince words about what it might mean.
Oh, membership number or phone number listed on the account, sir?
I don't know the phone number. It's either, I think it's, try that.
All right.
I know we have a membership, like, guaranteed. I don't
All
have
right,
the tag
unless
on
you
here.
have a
It got
membership
ripped off.
number or anything, it's okay. I'll get you over to the captain. What's the best phone number to reach you at?
Reach me at
You are hearing the audio distress call from the boat. That is the boat on which Nolan was.
In the recording, a voice allegedly tells someone to wake up. Other voices in the background reportedly ask whether someone is dead and call out Nolan's name. Grace's question is the same one now circulating across true crime forums everywhere. Is the audio authentic? Has it been altered? And if it's real, who exactly is being spoken to? It's the kind of audio that once heard is nearly impossible to unhear. A handful of seconds, a handful of words, and suddenly an entire case takes on a darker shape. But hearing something and confirming it are two very different things, and that gap is exactly where the next controversy begins. The problem, according to those who studied it, is that no one outside the investigation has actually heard the full, unedited version.
We need to prove what's there in the audio, because multiple pieces released through press stations online don't always have the exact audio we want. There's already been speculation that some of the different audio, like TMZ's and the others, are a little bit edited, and they always are, because you put them on there for a specific purpose, and adding the edited versions of what...
A former detective involved in reviewing the case argues that every version of the tape circulating publicly appears to have been cut, trimmed, or otherwise altered, and that the missing pieces could hold the very details investigators need. Without the original recording, he says, drawing firm conclusions is reckless. That uncertainty extends into the physical evidence as well. Forensic expert Joe Scott Morgan has weighed in on what the autopsy could and couldn't determine.
And so when you see this highlighted area, it's unique in the way he has diagrammed it here. He even demonstrates it that it has almost like margins to it. And, you know, that's what has left a big question for us, because it's not like it's diffuse all over the place where you've got these kind of spotty alignments.
According to Morgan, examiners performed a multi-layered dissection and did find musculature intact beneath the surface, but significant decomposition allegedly made it impossible to reach a firm conclusion about certain markings on the body. In other words, the science at this stage raises more questions than it answers. No confirmed cause, no confirmed manner, just a body that spent time in conditions that erased some of the very evidence investigators needed most. For a family desperate for a straight answer, that ambiguity is its own kind of cruelty. And then, just when the case seemed to have hit a wall of uncertainty on every front, the tape, the autopsy, the conflicting testimony, TMZ dropped something that reportedly changes the entire timeline.
Sources directly, with direct knowledge of the investigation, that after Nolan's friends left on their boat at 4:30, that Nolan remained at the island. And in fact, there was one report that claimed that he was there as late as 6 o'clock, still on the island. This new video shows the boat that Nolan's friends were on when they left the island. This is the boat that Nolan arrived at Horn Island on July 4th. Same friends. Seven people, which is what we heard them describe on the call to the tow company. And they are all on the boat there. This is as they are trying to get it started.
And there's no Nolan in sight.
Right. And the 7 people you can see on there, Nolan is not one of them.
According to TMZ, newly surfaced video appears to support what sources close to the investigation have been saying for weeks, that after Nolan's friends departed the island at 4:30 p.m., Nolan himself remained behind. The footage reportedly shows the same boat, the same 7 friends, struggling to get the engine started as they prepare to leave. And in that footage, Nolan is nowhere to be found. If authenticated, this single piece of video reframes everything. It would mean Nolan was alive, standing on that beach, after the people he came with had already gone. For a family already grieving, this isn't closure, it's a reopening of the wound. Every new interview, every fragment of leaked audio, every unauthenticated video forces Nolan's parents to relive the worst 90 minutes of their lives in front of a national audience, over and over, each time framed as a breakthrough. Each time landing without an actual answer attached to it. And the pressure isn't only on the family. Warren Hudson now carries the weight of being the public face of a story, with more holds than answers. A friend trying to grieve while simultaneously being cross-examined by strangers on the internet, who've never met Nolan, never met him, and know the case only through clips like this one. Every pause in his interview, every detail he can't quite explain, gets dissected in real time, slowed down, captioned, and picked apart for meaning that may or may not be there. Meanwhile, a girl identified only as Katie is now allegedly at the center of Nolan's final known movements, reportedly the last person seen with him before he disappeared from view. She has not spoken publicly. Neither have the unnamed witnesses who allegedly told police they saw Nolan as late as 6 p.m., 2 hours after his friend's boat had already left the island. 2 hours in which, if those accounts are accurate, Nolan was alive and simply unaccounted for by the people who loved him. That silence, deliberate or not, has become its own kind of story. Hundreds of people on that beach. A handful of names circling the case, and still almost no one willing to go on record, to sit for an interview, to give the family anything more than secondhand rumors filtered through investigators and reporters. For a public desperate for resolution, the gap between what's rumored and what's confirmed has become almost unbearable. Every new clip promises answers, almost none of them deliver. And every day that passes without Katie, without the unnamed witnesses, without the full tape, feels like one more day the truth is allowed to stay buried. The reputational damage here isn't confined to one person. Warren Hudson's credibility is now permanently tied to a story full of unexplained gaps, regardless of what actually happened that night.
Nolan's friend group collectively faces a public that increasingly views their departure from the island without Nolan as something closer to abandonment than accident. Even the investigation itself hasn't escaped scrutiny. Calls for the release of the full unedited distress call have only grown louder, with critics arguing that redacted or trimmed evidence in a case this high-profile erodes public trust rather than protecting it. Every day the full tape stays sealed, the perception grows that someone, somewhere, has something to hide. And Katie, along with the unnamed witnesses who allegedly saw Nolan hours after he was supposedly gone, now exist in a kind of public limbo. Named in headlines, absent from interviews, their silence increasingly read by the public as guilt, even without a single confirmed fact to support that assumption. That's the danger of a case like this one. Perception moves faster than proof, and once it starts, it rarely waits for the full picture. What's certain is this: no one connected to that afternoon on Horn Island walks away from it clean. Nolan Wells was 18 years old. He went to Horn Island expecting fireworks and friends, and instead became the center of a mystery that refuses to close. Somewhere between a boat leaving at 4:31 p.m. and a body found days later, 90 minutes remain unaccounted for, and the people who might fill in that gap have chosen, so far, to stay silent. Maybe that changes. Maybe it doesn't. But until the full tape is released and every witness comes forward, Nolan Wells will remain exactly what he is right now: a name everyone knows and a truth no one has told.